Hi, I'm Kate with The Productive Teacher, and today we're going to play the word maker game with the 8-word family. All one-syllable words are made up of an onset, that's any letter or letters that come before the vowel in a word, and a rime, that's the vowel and any letters that come after it. All the words in a word family will have the same rime, but you can make different words by changing the onset. 8 is a special case because 8 by itself is a complete word. We can add different onsets onto it to make more words. As we go through this video, you can read the words with me as I make them. You can mute the video and read by yourself, or you can just listen to me read them. You can also get all of the long A VCE syllable word lists on my website, theproductiveteacher.com, or you can get the pages for the long A VCE syllable word maker game on my website. All right, let's get started. Bait. Bait spelled like this is not a word. Kate. I spell my name like this, but it's not super common, so I'm going to call it not a word. Date. Date is a word. Fate. Fate is a word. Gate. Gate is a word. Hate. Hate is a word. Jate. Jate is not a word. Kate. This is a common way to spell Kate, so I'm going to capitalize it and call it a word. Late. Late is a word. Mate. Mate is a word. Nate. Nate could also be a name, so I'm going to capitalize it and call it a word. Pate. Pate is not a word. Rate. Rate is a word. Oops. Sate. Sate is not a word. Tate. Tate is not a word. Vate. Vate is not a word. Wait. Spelled like this, wait is not a word. Yate. Yate is not a word. Zate. Zate is not a word. Chate. Chate is not a word. Fate. Spelled like this, fate is not a word. Shate. Shate is not a word. Fate. Fate is not a word. Quate. Quate is not a word. Wait. Spelled like this, wait is not a word. Late. Late is not a word. Brate. Brate is not a word. Clate. Clate is not a word. Crate. Crate is a word. Drate. Drate is not a word. Flate. Flate is not a word. Freight. Spelled like this, freight is not a word. Glate. Glate is not a word. Great. Great is a word. Plate. Plate is a word. Prate. Prate is not a word. Slate. Slate is a word. Smate. Smate is not a word. Snate. Snate is not a word. Spate. Spate is not a word. State. State is a word. Trait. Trait is spelled like this is not a word. Scrate. Scrate is not a word. Shrate. Shrate is not a word. Splate. Splate is not a word. Squate. Squate is not a word. Straight. Spelled like this, straight is not a word. Thrate. Thrate is not a word. Awesome job. Thanks so much for decoding with me today. I'll see you next time.